That was surprisingly entertaining. Ask the Hosts, episode 32. I'm Joe, and it's just me for the intro, but don't worry, there'll be other hosts along very soon. The idea of this show is very simple. You send in your questions to us to show@askthehost.com, and we answer them. The catch is they can be about anything except Linux and open source. Before we get going, just a quick thank you to everyone who supports us with PayPal and Patreon. We really do appreciate that. And patrons get these episodes 2 weeks before everyone else does. Now, you may have noticed that this episode is quite short. That's because this episode is coming out on New Year's Eve, the 31st of December. And for once, I've decided to have a Christmas break this year. But instead of having no episodes for each show, I thought it might be nice to have a very short episode. Hopefully that makes sense and you don't mind me having a bit of a break. Anyway, so I've got one question this time, and it was with Andy and Kevin from Linux Dev Time. Ed asks, what normal thing have you never done? And for me, that is drink and enjoy a whole cup of hot beverage. Tea, coffee, whatever. That's a normal thing that people do every day. Most people do several times a day, and I have never done it. Because I've tried a bit, it's like, oh, I don't like hot liquids in my mouth or in my throat. No thanks. Soup, you're going to say, oh, what about soup? Well, soup is something that you dip bread into and then you eat the bread. And then when there's a little bit of soup left, ideally there's enough chunks of potato or meat or whatever to make it worthwhile. And by that time, it's kind of lukewarm anyway. But yeah, just hot drinks. Drinking hot drinks is something that I have never done.
I actually had a while where I did not drink hot drinks because when I was a child, I had a babysitter that gave me hot chocolate straight out of the boiling kettle and scalded my entire mouth. I couldn't taste anything for a while. So for a very long time, even into adulthood, I would not drink hot drinks. However, that eventually subsided. So I have started drinking hot coffees or teas. However, I definitely prefer cold coffees and cold teas now, to the point where that's the majority of the things that I either make or drink. But I will drink hot drinks now. I have gotten over that since.
I always make myself 2 cups of tea every day, several times a day.
What, 2 at once?
I make 2 mugs of tea and I carry them both to my desk and then I drink them one after the other.
He has 2 hands.
And I'm aware that this is quite an odd thing to do, but one of the good moments of my beginnings at my company is that a couple of days in, I made these drinks and I was taking them to my desk, and the founder of the company just kind of gave me a nod and went, yeah, the mugs are too small, aren't they? And I just felt so normal and accepted from then on.
Why don't you just get one big mug? Get a big Sports Direct mug.
Why would I do that when this works really well for me?
Surely one's cold by the time you've finished the first one. Or do you drink half of one, half of the other, sip from one, sip from the other?
I drink the first one pretty quickly, and the second one is still a decent temperature when I get to it.
Fair enough.
So when thinking about this question, I'm not sure what normal things I have never done, because I guess I would view them as abnormal, or I don't know. I've done all the normal things that I think I've done. However, there is one that kind of stands out. It's not something I've never done. It's something that I have probably on less than a few occasions ever done, and that's eat oatmeal with hot water poured into it the way it's supposed to be eaten, apparently. I always grew up eating oatmeal or oats with just cold milk poured into it, just like it was cereal. And it wasn't until I was an adult, later on into my 20s, where I ate some oatmeal with a friend of mine, and they saw what I was doing and looked at me in absolute shock and horror. And I was like, what's wrong? And they were like, what are you doing to your oatmeal? And I was like, I'm eating it, and it's delicious. Thank you. And that's when they informed me that, no, you're supposed to eat it with hot water. It's supposed to kind of all congeal or turn into a mush that you then eat that way. And I have since tried that, and I dislike that. I like my version with cold milk and just eat it like cereal.
Andy, is he talking about porridge?
Probably so.
I have a porridge story, so let's hope he is. My sister was training for a marathon, and so she read that she had to eat porridge. So it would make her almost puke while she was eating it. She was just forcing it down. She absolutely hated it. She ate porridge every day for however many months training for this marathon. And then a while after that, she discovered from someone that you don't have to make it with milk, or you can make it half and half milk and water. And she's totally fine eating it with water, but if she makes it with milk, it makes her want to vom.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's the other thing as well. I've never enjoyed a glass of milk. I cannot stand dairy generally.
Right.
Except for the mildest of cheese on pizza.
I've fully trained myself to have nothing but oat milk now, and I find normal milk a bit bleh.
Yeah, my wife's the same. She has oat milk with porridgey type stuff cold like you, Kevin. So I don't think it's that abnormal. She has that just for a little snack now and again.
I think you win this game, Joe, because that's a really normal thing that you've never done. I haven't really got a very normal thing. The only thing I could come up with was I've never been to a rave. And so for some people, that's a pretty normal thing to do.
I don't think that's normal. I think it's common but not normal. I think there's plenty of people who've never been to a rave.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not special. But yeah, I've never been to a rave, and I regret that, even though at the time raves were happening and I was the age to go to raves, I totally scorned that type of music and I would never have gone, but now I wish I'd gone.
I've been to a lot of nightclubs that we used to call raving, and I did go to an illegal warehouse party at one point, which I think does count.
That counts.
So, yes, but I don't think that's normal, so I think you're all right there. All right, well, what about this for a nerdy thing that is, normal among the kind of people we know? I have never watched a whole Lord of the Rings movie. I watched like 10 seconds of one. I was like, nope, fuck this. This sucks. And turned it off.